Hello there, internet. I like to sniff at the start of every conversation just to signpost my crippling addiction to cocaine and let people know exactly what to expect from the following social interaction. I did have something clever that I was going to say. It even rhymed. It had something to do with Mephisto runs, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, here we are back again with the little diary, and just gonna run into some terror zones, I suppose. I don't know if I can find the tomb here. The tomb has some like really dense mobs, so that would be good. But I don't really want to be like goofing about out here in the stinky desert. Yeah, it's a stinky desert. Yeah, I said it. I'm like savage like that. Oh, actually, Nightmares of Beatles. They look kind of like spicy EXP wise. The Beatles just like take my entire strategy of you know, these like 60 bajillion like love taps a second to kill, and it just like Uno reverse the shit out of me. It's like, no. You ain't getting that for free. You can fill this freaking screen with so much goddamn lightning. And look at all these juvies. I tell you, I don't need them. But the monsters keep giving them to me. Sometimes I put them in my stash, sometimes I leave them on the floor. Very rarely, sometimes I am glad to see them. You know, like I usually need to use a juvie if there's any kind of like serious danger, because this character is so squishy, terrible resistances, not a lot of life, you know, but it's kind of like everything is fine, completely fine, but when it's like 1% less than fine, it's already like, you know, crisis point, brown trousers, you know, hit the potion button 6 times and run away kind of moment. Because you're either totally in control, you know, the monsters are either like be sat on and made to eat ants, or, you know, they're coming for you, and they want to put you up against the wall and do terrible things to you. Terrible things. That will proc many curses. The trauma curse. The pain curse. The horror curse, you know. We have all been there. Mind you, it's not that scary. Like, I don't know. Dying is like, I gotta try a hardcore character on this, like, while streaming it, because, you know, I've been playing this game for 20-something years, legitimately. It was at least 20 years. It's 20, 21 maybe, 22, I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly, but it was definitely like, yeah, just a couple of years after 2000. I'm trying to think about like where I was living at the time, because I moved around a lot, so I kind of, in my head, make sense of it by thinking like, okay, where was I living then? What year was it? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, alright. Anyway. Definitely very, very early 2000s. And then, you know, playing the actual, like, OG Diablo, or OG Diablo 2, and then OG Diablo 1, before it, so, not just LOD. Like, LOD, you know, still kind of seems like the new thing to me, like, Diablo-wise. and I'm still kind of like, I don't know if that was entirely the correct decision. It was entirely. LOD was amazing. Like, LOD was the most hype expansion pack. I can't even try to like describe how freaking hype it was. Like, it genuinely felt like everyone was just crawling up Mount Ararat. And Diablo 2 had been like I just don't think people wait for EPs and stuff like that the same way these days. And then, you know, when they get them, the content isn't quite as crazy. Like, you know, try to imagine there's some, you know, real AAA game comes out, right? And like a good chunk of time passes without, you know, there isn't all this like hype and promise and what do they call them now? They call it I forget. But you know, like the studios like literally have to put out these like timelines of like what, you know, what they're going to make for the game and when it's going to come out and timetable it and, you know, make all these like promises for the future and stuff to really get people like hyped to play, you know, like looking at you know, I was just seeing an article about you know, Path of Exile 2 and like they're, you know, saying what to expect and how, you know, what are the timetables and how long before this act is done and that act, and there's going to be 15 acts and there's going to be this much content and this many updates, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's cool, that's the industry like moving forward. But it's just like anything in the world, like even if it's something good, it can still have like it can still make certain things be less cool, right? So if you know what's coming, you're not going to have that kid on Christmas morning type surprise when, you know, some big AAA title that you love and has been out for like a while, you know, suddenly they're like, oh, well, look at this huge EP that's coming out. You know, that's like, you know, that's adding like 30% more content or something crazy like that. You know, just increasing the length of the game by like a third. And then changing all the balance and changing a bunch of like core mechanics and so on. Like some for bad, but most of it for the good. Like, I don't know, you wouldn't get that nowadays. And as I say, you wouldn't get that nowadays because things are generally better, but it does mean that, I don't know, it's you're not gonna have the same emotional reaction to something like an EP.
I can't carry anymore.
What do we got here? Well, that's now if that were barbarian skills, I would freaking love that. Even though the ED is not the greatest, it's like 30% IAS plus one of the skills. You could use it. And then what do we got here? Alright, give me a couple of healing potions. Ah, this freaking ant damage curse. Just gotta go back to freaking town, get this shit hosed off. But it's fine. It's not on me. Get out of here. I don't know if that even works, if the chest is already there. But yeah, I don't think there's much reason to come here, even in the Terror Zone, over the pits, but this is way less dense than I thought it was going to be. So I might as well clear this place out. when the bugs are around because of how many arrows I put into them, the amount of freaking lightning that comes out. This is just gonna be like a cheeky and sneaky hour of farming. I was gonna do some Mephisto, and maybe I will. I missed that gold item dopamine, and you're never promised the gold when you come to these areas, the terror zones, the pits, the ancient tunnels. Like, you know, you can definitely get gold down there. You can get surprising amounts of gold, and you can get really amazing items that you're certainly not going to get off Mephisto. And this thing will actually do some like passable damage if I can get it upgraded to elite, but I want to save the pole runes for actually, you know what, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just hit lower Karust for a bit and look for some runes, because like runes are one of those things where it's just like, if you get the right rune word, the right thing, you can base like an entire run around it. Alright, I'm trying to remember what my actual map is here. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing.
I need a key.
Oh, hell no, not me having... Alright. Let's go get me some keys. And of course, I can't get them from freaking Ormus. Damn you, Ormus.
Yes.
You now speak to Ormus. Ormus was once a great mage, but he does not sell keys, because fuck you. You must go to Hratton. He is over there, across that filthy, rickety bridge. Enjoy the reek of the swamp. Bruh, come on. I'm not even gonna, like, turn the portal off. Alright. What is my... I forget, like, where the fireplaces are on this map. You absolute little shits. Just whomping me as soon as I freaking get in there, and the Oculus just TPs me straight out. I'll take an Iron Rune. In fact, I'll take an Amaranth too. And that Small Charm. And that Grand Charm, which is definitely a skiller. That said, I'll preferably not die while I am... Oh my god. I move my keyboard around so freaking much. Alright. That was really awkward. But like anything, you know, anything I do at least, I gotta like run it a little bit to get back in the groove. Get even a little bit of speed going.
Yes.
That's right. We did have some good, like the double Reaper's Toll. Like, what is this game? Like, it gives you a Reaper's Toll, which is this really cool item that you're like super hyped. That was not a skiller. I've been betrayed. But yeah, it'll give you this cool item that you're like super hyped to find,
Not here.
and it's like on your, like, you know, I don't know how you guys do it, but like I will definitely have in my head just like a list of like completely essential stuff. You know, things that kind of must be farmed in my opinion, right? Like when you first start up your character, and it's like you know, runes up to like foul, and Yeah, so like I think of it like runes up to about foul. A bunch of like perfect gems, particularly like amethysts. If it's like if it's like serious like ladder type content and you're doing melee characters and you are rubies for like blood gear, but just generally like perfect gems. Not terrible. Flat attack rating on like any piece of equipment is always really potentially useful, but on dual you kind of wanted to have some kind of second stat. That's interesting. And you being ethereal. Oh, that's right. Wow, super stingy chests today. I love these like freaking logs that are sometimes like full of like more treasure than the treasure chest. It's just some freaking gross log. But then like the way loot works in games. Ugh, okay, what's my keybind for Blizzard? I don't have one apparently. And we'll just go ahead and switch that to Glacial Strike. Nobody likes to feel bullied by monsters. Sometimes you just gotta kill them, even if it's not necessarily the optimal way to engage with the content. Like, obviously, the ideal way to do this is to just, like, get in, grab your shit, pop the chests, get out. Because, especially at this level, there's very little to be gained from killing the monsters. But sometimes you just gotta, at least for me, I gotta just kill them for my sanity. Like, there are times when I want to be like Trixie and teleport around and kite them and nip back to the chests and stuff, if I can. Because sometimes all I want is that dopamine from the chest popping. I see. This guy's a jerk, but look at the mug. This guy's a jerk, but look at the mug. Wow. Key, thank you. Lovely. No. This guy's way too annoying. We're just gonna, yeah, leave and come right back. It's so rough getting like lots of. I wish I could like make some kind of deal with Lower Karust. Like, hey, you know, it's okay that I have to play this for like hours and hours and hours, and even then, there's no real guarantee that I'm gonna get anything like, you know, super cool. But like, I just wish like it wouldn't drop runes, like bad runes. Like, come on, don't show me that like little flash of like rune drop that makes me go ooh. But then it's just like, oh, it's just an am rune or something. That's just doing me dirty. Yeah. Rare gloves always interesting. Could have some amazing combination of affixes, especially now that they can get plus skills for Amazons and dual leech with lightning resist. Oh, not bad at all. But yeah, those are the sort of that's the sort of stuff that kind of keeps me coming back to Lower Kuros. Like if it really was just like this dry farm until you get a rune, then go away, buds. Ooh, jewel and a small charm. Those are the sort of things that keep me coming back here. But I have been pretty damn lucky with Lower Kuros so far. I've not done that many runs, and I've gotten a Sur rune and an Ohm rune, which is like Ohm rune is I always forget where the cutoff for like high runes are, but I'm pretty sure Ohm rune is on like the lower side of what's considered high, but Sur is like pretty freaking high.
Good day.
I could have that ass backwards, but I think I'm right. I suppose I could just, you know, look it up, but you little shits. Little shits. We've been over this. Ow. A sneaky rune that I couldn't see initially. And because so much stuff falls out of the chest, you don't necessarily hear the sound cue and know that a rune has dropped. Look at that, freaking Clegs out of this just like random case. It's always so freaking hype to me to see uniques and even sets, even if it's like a terrible item that comes out of like a chest, because the funny thing is, I used to like play almost entirely online. Because I like to be able to like, you know, pretty much just farm Mephisto and then trade for stuff. So obviously can't trade as a single player. But at least, as far as I know, back then you couldn't, like, especially like playing online at least, you certainly couldn't pick the players count. You actually physically needed people to join to get it up. So doing things like this and just saying like, oh, okay, well I'm just gonna like open these chests that like spew items everywhere. couldn't farm stuff like that. Chests very rarely drop anything on players one. Like super chests will drop, you know, a couple items, but most of the time it's a lot of nothing that comes out, and then you open a super chest and it's like, I don't know, a magic item, a potion, and a key or something from a super chest on players one. So I don't think in like my entire career, like A, that just like disincentivized me from like opening chests. Okay, hell yes. Like that's, to me, that's a pretty desirable skill up, because like I don't understand the value of a skiller on a barbarian who isn't a caster, basically, because like what are you gonna get? Like 10 extra points in Berserk, when, you know, you could have a bunch of like max damage attack rating charms that will definitely translate to way more damage, or you could have, you know, some combination of like life resistances. That's cool. Set ring. It's I totally agree with these guys are complete freaking assholes. It's way easier to deal with this sort of bullshit as a Blizzard sorceress, though. I'm still kind of getting used to the keybinds for Blizzard. Because when I was playing Orb here... Oh yeah, that's cool. Fanaticism in the house, so... Mindheart sounds like a band name, I swear. Frontman for 80 synth-pop brand, Mindheart. Oh my god, can I pick this thing up? No?
I am overburdened.
Alright. I love that, like 2 EXP shrines in a row. I mean, I guess the clever play there would then be to just do a quick Lost City run, Ancient Tunnels run, with the EXP shrine on.
Good day.
Also, I just realized that I can get an Annihilus charm because I have a Stone of Jordan, so presumably I could summon the Diablo clone. But I have no idea like which character I should use to kill him. I suppose I should probably get a paladin before even messing around with that. Just have like a good smiter with really high resistance, and you know, I've got the Dracl's Grasp, so you know, I get like the free life tap proc and blah 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 blah. Absolute jerks these guys are. Where are you going? Absolute jerks. They want all the frickin' smoke, and then they turn around and run. Just to like make your life a little bit more complicated. They actually do have like a really aggravating kind of script which is good because they're enemies. They're supposed to fuck with you and make your life harder. Lum rune is just plus energy, isn't it? I see the freaking runes so rarely. Yeah, Lum is plus energy. Still. Lums and Ko's and Fouls and Ios and stuff like that, I feel like you just freaking need them. Like, there's a lot of recipes that use these guys. Or these guys, or these guys, or these guys. Not so much the lamb. But, like, from here to here. Like, from what I've seen, these things don't fall like candy. And it's kind of hard to keep up with how many you need. But I know the rune that I'm going to want the most is a Pulver rune, because upgrading uniques is super fun. And look, I kind of just don't care about upgrading them to exceptional, because it's sort of like upgrading a normal unique to exceptional. It definitely has a place. It's a good mechanic that should exist in the game, right? Because you're playing through ladder, whatever, you find a good item. There's plenty of uniques from normal that will just take you through Nightmare if you upgrade them. But that to me is kind of what makes it like, we've all done it, we've all been there, and we all more or less know which ones can get the job done numerically, particularly like which ones can get it done like easily and well.
I am overburdened.
Okay, I see what I've done with my keybinds here. I put the enchant keybind. The problem is, like, yeah, I'll just use that for Blizzard. Like, I've got that here, it's fine. Everything's fine, Oh, that's right, I can't actually pick up gold. It doesn't take long to just fill your stash. Down here, in the old lower crust. Bonk, bonk. Bonk. I know I should kind of pick up gems and stuff, but man, not right now. But yeah, list of things you want, Yeah, you always want, like, Co runes and Lum runes and Val runes. You want Shaft Stops, Vamp Gazers, you want all the MF stuff, so, Shakos are always welcomed. That's right, I literally can't do anything to this guy as a...
I am overburdened.
I keep forgetting to put the gold back. Alright, go and kill this little shit. Yeah, TP bomb you. TP bomb. TP bomb. Brr. Oh my god, can this shit stop running away? This is legitimately why I usually just ignore these pieces of shit. Like, where is this fuck going? What's his game plan? Like, one of the things that really, really works my tits about this game is, like, You try running away from enemies, and you will get insta-killed. Because, you know, if you're genuinely trying to get away from something scary, the only safe way to do it is, like, while walking. Because if you do it while running, you know, I mean, assuming you have any defenses worth speaking of. If you're like a sorceress and you're just squishy as hell, then, you know, you might as well just try to run or TP as quickly as you can. But for any kind of class that can do any amount of tanking, when you walk, you don't see how your defense, like, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people genuinely think that, like, defense is useless. But at the same time, it's like, you know, huh? Doesn't seem to make any difference, does it?
Good day.
But I think that's because
Good day.
it's as low as it can be, but whatever. The fact of the matter is, much more important than your defense getting balked is your chance to block is like halved or something. So you just get like really freaking beaten up if you try to like run away. But like, if a monster is running away from you, unless you have like a really fast attack, like they're like out of the space where the frame data is like even calculated, where you even have a chance to hit, because as far as the game is concerned, you just swung and hit at air. So like, as a melee character, you can literally chase a monster that's running away across the entire tile set, constantly be behind it, constantly be swinging, and yet never actually deal any damage to it. Like, if the monster just wants to run, you're literally powerless as a melee character. There's actually nothing you can do. Unless you have, you know, a crap ton of run walk, and even then, like, you need to kind of corral it into a corner, or, you know, you can't just run after it, because, like, okay, if you have a combination of like an enormous amount of run walk and an incredibly fast weapon, then you can probably get away with just like running after it and swinging. But realistically, what's going to happen, you know, even if you have a fast one, I'm talking about incredibly fast, I'm talking about like a hustle or something, where you're getting like the extra fanaticism aura and you're hitting like multiple breakpoints. You know, just having like, oh, well, this sword's got some IAS and it's a reasonably fast base, like, that's not good enough. By the time you physically do your swing animation, they're gone. Like, they're outside of the weapon's range. So the game isn't even, like, as far as the game is concerned, you're just swinging at air for some funny reason. There was never a monster there, you're just fighting the demons in your head. So monsters can just like safely kite you for literally eternity, unless you have some way to like physically lock them down, block them off into a corner or something, hard CC them.
Greetings.
Wait, no. Wait. Oh gosh, what am I doing? I need IDs. Yeah, but like, your ability to kite monsters is really freaking limited. Well, your ability to kite them safely is extremely limited. And again, it's like, I always come back to this thing where it's like, hey, it's fine for the game to be unfair. This is hell difficulty, it's supposed to be unfair, that's why things kind of keep scaling up, like, even just how fast monsters move scales up. That's how it should be. It's just the unfairness does not scale equally for, you know, caster versus range versus melee. I do kind of understand what they were going for, though,
Hello.
in terms of like, you know, it's not that this game doesn't challenge casters, because it definitely does. It's just that a lot of them kind of have some tool that allows them to just physically like sidestep it or something. Hold on, be back in just a moment. And I'm back. But yeah, like, if you think about it, questing through hell as a sorceress is one of the least fun things in the game. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, it sucks, but at least it's quick. You know? Yeah, it's kind of pure suffering. A lot of it is literally just you skipping whole areas with teleport and, you know, hoping not to like die and have to like hard reset it or something, or God forbid playing hardcore, it's even worse because of how nerve-wracking it is to try to teleport through. And like, sorceresses are like not that safe in hardcore. Because sometimes you just teleport somewhere that gets you killed. And it's
Good day.
that's pretty decent. If the ED were better, I mean, that's a now. That's not even the elite base, and the damage is like not the worst. I love that affix though, where you get the max damage and the huge amount of just like flat attack rating. Get out of here, jokes. Not in the mood for you today. But yeah. Yeah, like playing a caster through the actual questing part of hell can be like really, really dicey and struggle bossy and so on, because as I say, you spend a huge amount of your time just teleporting around, and then sometimes when you have to kill things, like I don't know, Chaos Sanctuary, for example. You know, half of it's freaking immune to cold, half of it's immune to fire. And odds that you're a lightning sork are kinda low. Because pretty much everyone who plays the sorceress plays cold or cold fire. Like, that's the most popular.
Hello.
Like, and I know, like, lightning is really strong when you have all, like, the end game stuff. But who has that? And you know, you're talking about making a sorceress because you want to, like, eventually be able to farm that end game stuff, right? Like in a ladder context or something. And Blizzard, when it hits properly, it really does do a lot of damage. And yeah, I kind of wanted to, like, walk in here this time because I had the curse on me, and you know, if there's one of those jerks that just, like, bonks you and crits you with the curse, you can very easily just kind of pop as a sorceress. That said, my sorceress has more health than... My sorceress is, like, considerably, at least by the numbers, looks like she should be way safer and tankier than the Amazon I play. At least when I play the sorceress in her, like, proper gear. In her MF gear, I know MF gear still looks tankier than the Amazon, because, like, what are her... Oh my god, her resistances are, like, 0 to positive. She's so much better off than the Amazon. It's crazy. Like, 63% lightning resist and 42% cold resist in MF gear when you're, like, mainly running Mephisto in that gear and then having over 1,000 health is, like, not too bad at all. The Amazon has only one resistances that's in the positive, and it's freaking poison. You know, the least important. Yeah, look at that hiding there. Merc can kill that guy, but he's just gonna run away. Oh, another boss pack. Even with teleport, they can basically kite you infinitely. Like, the extent to which these guys run away is a little bit silly. Actually ran across the entire freaking map. And now he's running more. So annoying. But yeah, as I say, the Amazon weirdly feels way more chill and way safer to play than the Sorceress. But obviously, quite a bit slower at getting stuff done and with nowhere near the damage output. I'm pretty chuffed that I found a skiller here. And, you know, a, like, passively useful skiller at that. there's quite a few skills in this game that are just like, you'd see that +1 and be like, ooh, and then you'd just be like, oh god, get it away from me, like a defensive aura skiller, or splint mail, alright. And that's sure frost. What I mean about just like random uniques dropping here, it's not that bad. Yeah, we know what this is, and we know this is Ice Blink. I was gonna say, like, can Ice Blink not have cannot be frozen? Like, would it be so bad, you know? Like, would it break the game? Would it be so overpowered? It's a terrible item. But it is cold themed. I mean, this thing is like, I would be so happy to have one of those if I was Paladin or Bonking Bob, like going through Nightmare or something, as long as I had as the Bob if the other weapon was good, you know. But yeah, that damage is fine for Nightmare, and it adds a good chunk of cold, which is the, you know, it's, if you're gonna have non-physical damage on your weapon, then you kind of want like magic damage or cold, and obviously magic damage is super rare. But I'm pretty happy I got that Warcry skill, like I said. There's a lot of not particularly great skills in this game. Like, I would not value a skiller for a barbarian that was like passive magic or combat skills all that much. By the same token, I wouldn't necessarily value a passive magic skiller for an Amazon either. Because, you know, the bonuses are so incremental, right? You know, it's like, assuming you have any amount of plus the skills gear and even like 1 point invested in them, you're going to be getting like 6%, 4% in your dodges, a few percent in like critical strike, a few percent in penetrate. Similarly with like a barbarian, you'll get like a few points resist all, a little bit of extra armor, a little bit of tiny bit of like increased speed, extra stamina. Absolute little shit putting that curse on us when he died. Just as like a final middle finger.
I can.
Big pink. I don't like large charms though. Like, large charms are the least sexy of all the charms, as far as I'm concerned. And I know, like, numerically there's nothing wrong with them, but it's just like, you know, you get you get a big one, a grand charm, you know it can be a skiller. And you get a small, and you know it can be like a, you know, fine small charm of Vita or something. Like, there's just like some really like, I don't know. Maybe it's as much a like inventory management thing of just like finding it easier to like make space for.
I am overburdened.
Is that the lance of some Yagai? Like, they're freaking dropping it in lower caress now. Just, yep, get that shit out of here. Absolute freaking war crime to drop that thing. Criminal. I think I told people here about how much I used to mold over finding Radamant Sphere. The game just used, like, it had personal fucking beef with me over that item. I swear to God. I would do Mephisto like, or a trap run or something, and run after run. That's like one of the only uniques I would see. They just love to drop it for me, and I would get to that point where I'm like, you know, like, nope, this is just getting silly. The game's just trolling me now. There's no way this many Radon Spheres can drop, and they will not dare drop another one. If they drop another one, I'm going to, like, go, go chew up a cinder block. Like, I'm gonna go gnaw on, like, some ceramics. Like,
Yes.
lose my shit completely. And then, of course, it would give me another one, just to kind of, like, be like, yeah, go on, do it then. Wind Razor. Get out of here, Wind Razor. Face the music. Oh, is that... No. I want the cap, man. Come on, let me have Infernal Cranium. It's not like a precious item or anything. I just want an Infernal Cranium. Like, let me complete some of these, baby sets. Like, I don't mind not having a Mavina's set or Natalia's or IK or something. That's okay. But yeah, coming up on the hour mark. Haven't found much apart from that Warcry skiller. But honestly, if you said to me like, "Hey, play the game for an hour and you get a useful skiller," like if there was some place you could just have that guaranteed as a farm, 1 hour farm for a skiller, hell yeah, I would not complain about that. I'd run that freaking farm all day, every day. I'd wear that farm out until I had like all the skillers I want. Get those absolute jerks sitting in the freaking house. Get out of here. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just take the food and leave. Look at this, like half the map has this aura. The range of these things in hell is just silly, but it is what it is. I mean, that aura has like way more range, and that's kind of fair because it is the weakest. But man, it's so annoying when you just have like a might aura or a fanaticism aura, like, just covering like half a freaking, map segment, and like you kill 3 boss packs before the aura disappears. You're like, oh, this guy has to have the aura. Here's the boss pack. Nah. Because there's just no interacting with it at that point. The monster's literally just like... just sitting in a corner somewhere and just buffing everything by just existing and having, multiple boss packs and mobs. Just, ads. Just physically like body blocking for it while it buffs them all. And... yeah, it just doesn't feel great to try to interact with a mechanic like that. But thankfully, while there is a lot of like bullshit in this game where, some of the things you have to deal with in hell are just like really way too silly, like way too like overtuned. At the same time, I will say, you have a decent amount of tools to deal with it. And you also have tools that people don't like using, and I understand why they don't like using them. But things like just re-rolling the map, you know,
Good day.
like if there's a fanaticism aura on the Willstone Keep, for example, that's just hitting like a half the freaking level, and I don't know, there's a bunch of archers and quill rats and stuff like that in it, and there's just nothing you can do. You can just re-roll that map, you know. Like, I'll pretty much always re-roll the map on souls. They are the most dangerous enemy in this game. They don't really give a fuck about lightning resistance.
It's locked.
So, unless you're stacking both resists and then also with some absorb, and it's really easy to get cold absorb and fire absorb.
Good day.
Like, in a way that's like, you know, slottable into like a lot of gear setups, right? Because you have Dwarf Star Raven Frost. So you know, most casters, like, who's got 2 Stoner Jordans in this economy? So I would be generally happy to have those 2 as a caster, especially if cast rate wasn't super important for me. Otherwise, you know, obviously you want rings with resist and cast rate, but either way, Fire Absorb, Cold Absorb, reasonably easy to get. Wisp Project is super rare, you need to be super high level to wear it. And Blackthorn's Face, just, like, yeah, it has the lightning resist, but it doesn't, like, there's no other reason why you would wear it. And, as I said, souls don't really respect it. Like, you really need to have, like, high lightning resist and some absorb on top of it, or they can just freaking melt you. And, you know, from off screen. And it's just the RNG of like how lightning works in this game, because of the extremely low minimum damage and the extremely high maximum damage. And it's like, well, the monsters only need to get lucky once. You know? Like, they can actually... That's a really valid playstyle for the monsters. It's like, hey, I'll have them 1 minimum damage, but like 800 maximum damage.
Yes.
And like, yeah, odds are I'm gonna like walk up to the guy, hit him a few times, do almost nothing, but if I get that 1 lucky crit, he'll get absolutely wrecked. But when there's 30, 40 monsters trying that, the odds that one of them won't get that lucky crit. Can start to look scarily low. Da-da-da-da. This is on Players 8, isn't it? Yeah, I thought so. The chests seem very Players 8, but Blizzard melts those guys so fast that it doesn't feel like Players 8. Like, some things Blizzard kills so fast. Some things Frozen Orb seems to do way better at, even with less skill investment. Like, Frozen Orb seems to clap Mephisto really quickly, and for very little mana cost as well. And Blizzard can definitely wreck him really quickly as well, but you have to eat a bunch of pots. That's not bad. Lum Rune and Iron Rune. Was just talking about how
I am overburdened.
those particular runes are kind of always in demand for me. That's a shame. If that were just ethereal, it could be potentially a really good base for Barbarian Merc, but I can't do anything with 1 socket. Oh, another Grand Charm.
can't
This is
carry
just a
anymore.
day of freaking Grand Charms. Crazy luck. And Grand Charms, super exciting to find. Though, often disappointing to ID. Hey, 30 to life. Could be worse. I'll probably do one more run after this. And then I gotta go touch some grass. Yeah, killing these guys with the AoE like Blizzard is a bit of a pain. That's always like a fun little quirk of the engine that's like, at first it seems like the monsters are kind of cheating, but then if you play a barbarian or something, you realize that like, it just kind of applies to everyone. How like the hell buzzards can just land inside a building as if it has no roof. like they fly up into the air outside the building and then they just land in the building.
Hello.
There's no kind of collision or anything with the roof, but also if you have like leap on a barbarian, I'm pretty sure you can do the same thing. Like you can definitely jump over the bars in the flame dungeon and things like that, which is super funny because like the bars like go up to the roof, but you're just like, nah, I do not acknowledge roofs. Couple of jewels to ID. Do one more quick run, and then we shall see.
Yes.
I can't stop yawning. Alright, this is where you give me a pole room. Like, I wouldn't cry if you want to drop like a chamber or sod or something. That's also acceptable. What a huge rare drop. I love when that happens. Might as well kill birds. The birds have dropped me some cool stuff in the past, and because that was the last run, but I do need to ID something I picked up. I don't remember what it was. Ah, that rare ring. Honestly, it's just a ring with a decent chunk of resist. Can't even be that saddened by it. 12 to life, magic damage resist. No worthless affixes on it. Even magic damage resist by 2 is not that useless because there are attacks that kind of proc constantly. Anyway, I'm off. Thanks for anyone who checked out.